Hi everyone and welcome back. So in this video we are going to talk about NestJS signals that has been added in the NestJS version 10. When I look at the documentations and prepared a demo, then it is kind of a similar which we see everywhere in Angular observable subject, behavioral subject, and you change the behavioral subject and then you can emit the event that can send an event to your UI client through SES, server side event, right? So let's take a look because it's going to be very interesting demo. This is a kind of a simple demo which I have prepared. So NestJS signals and reactive state documentation. So what we are going to do with the plane is client will send a request. There is a simple controller where you can just send a get, put, post, delete. And there are some SSE stream events, stream event dashboard live. These are like the endpoint for the SSE. What you will be doing when you click on to the post like here, you can actually change the counter, right? You can change the add the notification. So these all are actually nothing but a controller method, right? Here you can actually refresh the current state. Currently it's not running. I will run that. So what we are going to do is this application has some state in the behavioral subject. Now based on the user action, we will change the behavioral subject state using .next, and then once your actual behavioral subject is Rx observable, right? When you change the state, it will emit the event. Whoever is subscribing will receive the updates from there, right? So count, user, theme, notifications are subscribing. This is logged in user display dashboard. These are like the derived state which you will derive from the behavioral subject. It will have its initial state when you reload the page, but then when you trigger the actions from the UI, it will update the state in the behavioral subject and you can derive that state. And then you can just use an EventBus service using just a simple subject that will send an event to the UI. So core service, this is our central state behavioral subject which contains the count, user, theme, notification, right? And here we have the key methods like get snapshot, get state, select key. What it will do is get snapshot is the get current value of the state in the behavioral subject, get the observable stream, right? Now computed service, derived state. Computed is nothing but whatever is the state we already have, it will try to derive the current state from that is logged in, right? So what it is doing is this dot state service dot select dot pipe, and it is just changing only, it is emitting the event only when the user state has been changed, right? So this is a simple event bus service, and this will emit the event when user logged in, user logged out, counter changed, you did increment, decrement, theme change, notification added. On that case, event bus service will be emitting the event. So these are the controller endpoints: state, post, increment, decrement, login. This demo can be simply with the one simple controller, increment and decrement. You click onto that button. I am updating the behavioral subject state, and then SSE stream will receive the updates. Using that, we will update the UI, right? So let's take a look onto the code and try to see how this is work. So this is the SSE real-time stream because this is the NestJS application, and you can enable SSE events from there, right? Server-side events. Client connect to the SSE event, right? Client will receive when you are connecting to the stream. We are going to just return state service.get state, returns the behavioral subject as observable. Now what you are going to do, you are going to trigger some actions like increment, decrement, login, add a new message. So what it will do is whenever you change the behavioral subject, it will emit the current value. It will emit the current value, and SSE will receive the new state, new stream of the data, which you can show on the UI. Every state change. So whenever you change the state in the behavioral subject, it will emit the event, and SSE server sent events will receive a new events, and that will be sent back to the UI. So it's like, okay, it's like user is interacting and sending the SSE events to the UI. So because there is a behavioral subject, current state of the system, you trigger some events, you trigger some actions, and then those events propagated to the UI using SSE. So signals are not a concept of NestJS. Signals are in Angular. Now to simulate the same thing in the NestJS, what you can do is you can just use simple behavioral subject, right? New behavioral subject initial value. This is my initial value of the state. Now I can just do increment, click on the increment button. I will do subject dot next. Now all the subscriber will receive the new value. Whoever subscribing to the behavioral subject, they will receive the new updates from it, right? So we'll talk about a simple example, and this is just like how you can destroy all the behavioral subject once your application is going down. So we are going to take a look to these simple endpoints: get state, increment counter, and then whenever you increment count, you toggle the theme, you add a new message, stream the real events using this state stream event. Okay, it will keep sending the server side events. So let's take a look onto this simple demo. I mean, this is just an index.html rendered from there. This is my current state. You can refresh it, count 0. So this is my initial state of the application. Okay, this is the computed, and to compute the next state, I'm just checking is logged in, has notification, is count positive. Click on to this, right? First I need to connect. These are the server side events. So I will connect. I'm connected. Now I can just do a click. You can see I'm getting the server side events. Whenever you just, I can also see refresh. It will compute the new value, which is 25 now. I will add the new message. You can see the notifications are getting added. So this is my current behavioral subject. And whenever I change it, we do a dot next. And based on the dot next through the event bus, we are emitting the event through the server side events. I mean, these kind of applications, like whenever you want a real-time notifications to the UI client, then you can expose the server side events, endpoints. You change the state using behavioral subject. It's a reactive programming. Whenever the state changes, you can emit the events to the client, and client is already connected to this server side event stream. You will keep getting the events coming from there. You change this. This is my current state, and how this current state is triggering, because it's a behavioral subject. You are doing dot next. So all the subscriber will listen to this, and on top of that, EventBus is sending the updated data through the SSE event stream, because I'm not doing anything, right? I will do disconnect and connect, right? All these events are coming from there. So this is a simple demo. Let's take a look on the code. So in the code, did I add any new module? No, right? RxJS is already there. For SSE events, I don't need to add anything. Everything is simple. Right now in the SSE, this is my current state. Okay, I will just take a look onto the state service. This is my current, this is the interface, and this is my current state, which is there, right? Now in the state service, we have initialized a behavioral subject, state dollar, and to destroy notifier for the complete whenever you want to do this. So get snapshot, I mean, from the behavioral subject, how you can get the value, dot get value. How you get the state as observable, like this, update a state, right? So because it's immutable, whenever you change the signal, whenever you change the event, we are updating the state, current state, and update the current state, and whenever there is update, we just do a dot next on the observable. So this is the new state it is setting: increment, decrement, set user, clear user, toggle theme, add notifications. So it is updating the state, and this is the update state method which is being called from here, like increment, update state, whatever we have, update the count. It's like you can think about it's like a NGRX store in Angular, where there is an immutable state and you are just calling it, but we don't have actions, reducer, and all those things, no complexity. It's just like a behavioral subject, and you are just calling update state, and it return dot get snapshot. It is calling get snapshot and giving us the value, and on destroy, we are destroying it. So the state controller, what it is doing is it is calling the state service and returning all the current state and a computed current state and computed. And I think do we have SSE events here? SSE stream. So what it is doing, server side event, it is streaming the change on the real time. So state service, it is subscribing, piping that state and returning that state here, the computed and the current state. It is returning. It is always happens on the real time. And how we are rendering it. So these are like a simple method. And EventBus service, I will talk about this EventBus service where we are using it inside a state service, I guess, or inside a computed. Let me say, take a look at the instance. We are using this event bus service onto this counter. So whenever you are updating the counter increment decrement, we are just sending event bus.emit on login, log out, adding a message, toggle theme. We are always calling this event bus. It's like nothing but a event emitter, right? So this event bus, you will see this should be using event emitter underneath. So there is a emit method we have created manually, and what it is doing is it is a subject behavior. It is a subject, and it is just doing an event bus subject dot next, and it is just when you are doing this dot event bus dot next, that means whoever is subscribing to the subject will receive the updated values. So we are calling dot emit on all the subjects. So it is doing a dot next on all the values and sending the updated payload to the subscribers. So this event bus is nothing but a decoupled component. Here you can see events event bus dot on all. So it is subscribing to the event bus dot on all. It is just going to list all the events, but all the real-time stream is coming from the SSE stream dot get state, and whenever there is a state change, you will always keep getting the updated values from here. So this is server side state. Let's see if I reload the page. If I try to reload, nothing will go away, right? Because it's a server side state which is coming from the server. I will just try to connect and show. Add, this is server side state, and on every state change, we are streaming all the set of events. So this is like real-time stream which is coming, and all the events also. I think if I do console.log, try to see if I'm getting some events logs. So this is our UI client. What it is doing is it is creating an event source. Event source equal to new event source, and event source is API state stream because it is listening to that event source, and whenever there is a message coming from the event source, it is just adding those into the UI. And we can see here it is just keep updating the UI, update UI, whatever the data is coming, it is just inserting that in the text element, and it is showing that on the UI. Whenever it is disconnecting, it is setting that null. So this is a server sent events. We are listening to that stream coming from the server side. So the overall state is managed by the server. And there is add notification. What add notification is doing? Just a XGOS call and fetching the current state. So fetch state, every time we are calling the fetch state. If you see this function, fetch state is just, okay, give me the current state what we have in the observable state, right? So this is a simple demo of the behavioral subject and indirect implementation of a signals and a new feature. And sometimes you may need this thing in the real-time chat or real-time UI events based on the user performing the actions, right? Instead of making, so simple scenario is, let's say you click on one button, you update the state of the UI or update the state of the server, and you want to notify that updated state to the client, to the customer on the UI. Then you can use this kind of a integration using observables, behavioral subject, and a stream.